Hello everyone, as per the personality study of Akhenaten from the Year 12 Ancient History syllabus, today we are discussing changes to the titles and royal image of Amenhotep IV/Akhenaten. Our learning outcomes are to account for the nature of continuity and change in the ancient world and assess the significance of historical features, people, places, events, and developments of the ancient world. Our main focus today is to explore the changes to the titles and royal image of Amenhotep IV and his transformation to Akhenaten. How and why did he change his titles and his depiction? Why would he change his name from Amenhotep, meaning Amun is satisfied, to Akhenaten, meaning effective for the Aten, in year 5 of his rule? To understand what changed, we must comprehend that Egyptian kings from the Old Kingdom onwards had 5 names known as the full titulary. These epithets, according to Lefrophon, would serve as a brief statement of his qualities or of his relationship with the divine and the terrestrial world. These names held symbolic importance and held particular significance within Egyptian culture. This could be to highlight their reputation as a warrior or pious ruler or one who was established. Names had power and could link a king to a god or a previous monarch to solidify their right to rule. The first name here, the prenomen, is the throne name. This is the name the king takes when he ascends the throne, and is the only one used to identify the king when only one name is used. The second name, the nomen, is the birth name. This is the name given to the king at birth. The third name, the Horus name, encapsulates the concept of the Horus king residing in his palace. The fourth, the Nebti, or two ladies' names, places the king under the protection of the two goddesses, Nekhbet and Wadjet. The fifth name, the Golden Horus name, symbolized the permanence of Egyptian kingship and Horus in the daytime sky. You should be able to glean from this the heavily traditional and prescriptive nature of the titulary that highlights the king's connection to the country, places, the institution of kingship itself, and the gods. So what happened to the titulary of Amenhotep IV that is so significant? When Amenhotep IV ascended to the throne, his names adhered to decades of tradition and placed Amun, his temple Karnak, and Thebes at the center. In this way, his titles refer to Amun, such as his name Amenhotep IV, meaning Amun is satisfied, divine ruler of Thebes. In year 5, when Akhenaten changed his titles, they were modified in such a way that they gave particular prominence to the Aten, the sun disk, Akhenaten's relationship to the deity, and the importance of the new city that he founded at Akhenaten. In this way, his Horus name, originally Strong Bull of the Double Plumes, was changed to Beloved of the Aten. His two ladies, or Nebti name, was altered from Great of Strength in Karnak to Great of Kingship in Akhenaten, and his Golden Horus modified from Crowned in Heliopolis of the South, or Thebes, to Exalting the name of the Aten. His nomen, the name we know Akhenaten by, changed from Amun is satisfied, divine ruler of Thebes, to Effective for the Aten. The name that stayed the same was the prenomen, meaning beautiful are the forms of Ra, the unique one of Ra, which was the birth name of Akhenaten. Thus, while the changes are just to the names of the king, their alteration is quite significant. On a holistic level, they reflect the promotion of the Aten to the state cult and the religious changes behind it. Beyond the birth name, all references to the other deities are removed, and it's only the Aten that is referred to. His references are also quite specific, and he is named, while before some references to Amun were vague, such as the two plumes, which is a reference to Amun's crown, or Karnak, which is the temple dedicated to Amun. As it was a new religious approach, it would appear that Akhenaten wished to be as specific as possible as to who his deity was. Secondly, the names places Akhenaten at the center of the religion and highlight his unique relationship to the Aten. He is described as beloved, effective, and one who exalts the name of the Aten. There can be no doubt as to the prominence of Akhenaten in this theology. Thirdly, it introduces Akhenaten as the new capital of Egypt, thereby diminishing the importance of Thebes, and in a way provides a justification of the later move of the capital to Amarna. Overall, the changes to the names reflect the dramatic changes that were occurring to ancient Egyptian religion during the reign of Amenhotep IV/Akhenaten, and show just how invested Akhenaten was in these changes and the worship of the Aten, to the extent that he changed his names. Changes to the royal image of Akhenaten also occurred around similar times to the changes in titles, though the artistic changes actually came first. For more on the artistic developments of the reign of Akhenaten, please see the video entitled The Development of Amarna Art. In the beginning, Amenhotep IV depicted himself as a traditional Egyptian king, in which the artistic styles followed that of Amenhotep III. This is similar to the titulary of the first few years of Akhenaten's reign, which was heavily founded on tradition. From around year 2, in the earlier minor period, Amenhotep IV/Akhenaten began to be depicted in a distinctive angular style, with round stomachs, breasts, wide hips, and thin legs. The body was elongated, and the depictions of Akhenaten became androgynous, where it seemed to combine aspects of both male and female genders. Some scholars argue that the change to the royal image was the result of Akhenaten wishing to present his body as it actually was, going against traditional artistic conventions. In this theory, the disfigurement to Akhenaten's body is actually the result of a disease or combination of diseases, such as Froelich syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, or Marfan syndrome, to name just a few. However, these are hypotheses that have been made based on observation of the artistic styles and not on the examination of the royal mummies themselves, which was undertaken by Zahi Hawass and his team in 2010. The study from 2010, which assumed that the mummy from the Valley of the King's Tomb KV 55 was the body of Akhenaten, and furthermore that Tutankhamun was his son, concluded that there were no signs of specific disorders like Marfan syndrome in either mummy. As a result, Hawass and his team concluded the presentation of people during the Amarna period must be stylistic and based on their religious reforms rather than actual disorders. That the changes to the royal image was related to religious reforms is generally accepted by scholars to some degree, but as to the specific purpose, there is more debate. For example, Dodson suggests that it was to show a clear separation or break from Egyptian traditions across the board with the new religion, while Arnold argues that such images provided the Egyptians with an aura of visual references within the context of the new religious experience. They emphasize the otherness of the king and his role as intermediary between the earthly and the divine. These images were thus key to demonstrate to the Egyptians what the religious changes involved, such as the integral role of Akhenaten as the high priest and officiator of the new religion. In other theories, the trinity of the Aten, Akhenaten, and Nefertiti has been designed to recall the trinity of the creator god Atum and his two children, Shu and Tefnut, who were the first couple of creation that was intricately tied to the Sun Temple at Heliopolis and religious thought of the Amarna period. This trinity, along with the figure of Akhenaten, which corresponds to the female form rather than adhering to male proportions, highlights the king's fertility and suggests that he's also able to create life, like his deity. Overall, there were a number of changes that occurred to the titles and royal image of Akhenaten. They were not simultaneous, with the artistic changes preceding the name changes by a few years, perhaps as many as 3 years. The changes in titles from year 5 reflect the introduction of the new state cult and Akhenaten's importance to it. It indicates that from this point onwards, the Aten was the one deity Akhenaten would worship. The royal images reflect the changes to the religion and can be understood as the visual references required for the new beliefs to be enacted, showing Akhenaten and his role as the high priest and creator. I encourage you to think about the order of the changes. Remember, ancient Egyptian society is believed to have been mostly illiterate. Which one would have had more of an impact on ancient Egyptians? Visual depictions or changes to names? Why would one have preceded the other by as many as 3 years?